It is a wonderful feeling when you become a mother for the very first time. Life becomes more beautiful than ever, and your child becomes your top priority.
मदरहुड एक तरह से केयरिंग वर्ड है जो आपको सिखाता है कि एक बच्चे की कैसे केयर करनी है.
No soul can replace a mother's emotions. Nothing can bestow the warmth of mother's breastfeed.
मुझे अपने बच्चे के लिए बेस्ट करना है. बीइंग अ मदर मुझे इम्यून सिस्टम इसका स्ट्रॉन्ग करना है. मैंने इसको ब्रेस्ट फीड कराया. इवन 6 मंथ तक कंटिन्यूसली मैंने ब्रेस्ट फीड किया और अभी भी मैं कंटिन्यू कर रही हूँ.
Exclusive breastfeeding is one of the key contributors for survival and health of children throughout the world. More than 1 million babies die every year because they are not breastfed. Till the age of 6 months, the baby needs breast milk, not anything else. It gives infants all the nutrients they need for healthy development. While the baby food industry is pushing formula milk to new mothers in subtle ways, there are voices of care uninfluenced by marketing forces and commercial gain.
Be aware of the dangers of formula feeding before choosing to give formula for your babies, as well as be aware of the advantages of breastfeeding.
Voices of change.
BPNI not just kept the issue of breastfeeding alive, but it also made dents in a paralytic government.
Voices like the Breastfeeding Promotion Network of India.
It's a credible voice in the field of breastfeeding and IYCF in our country.
BPNI has a very strict ethical policy of not receiving money from any commercial side. Where there is a conflict of interest, we don't take money. We are very selective in actually taking money. So government organizations we normally trust, and that's where our source of funding lies.
BPNI, the Light of Hope, was born in 1991 as an organized front for advocacy on breastfeeding.
It's both exciting and challenging. The journey has been so far in terms of developing the organization, developing the issue itself, reaching to a level that people understand.
With a vision to establish optimal infant and young child feeding in all societal communities, BPNI has dedicated itself to empower parents and women to exclusively breastfeed their children for the first 6 months of age and continue breastfeeding for 2 years and beyond, along with adequate and appropriate complementary feeding starting at 6 months.
There are basically 3 paradigms in which BPNI works. One is protection of breastfeeding, then promotion of breastfeeding, and then support of breastfeeding. In protection, we are a gazetted NGO for seeing the implementation of the IMS Act. We have to look into the violations of this Act and report it to the court of law.
Today, BPNI stands as a force that works through advocacy, social mobilization, information sharing, education, research, training, and monitoring the company compliance with the IMS Act.
We got a law that bans the promotion of baby foods commercially. That is probably something which we will leave behind actually for generations to come.
We do not see breastfeeding in isolation and rather work on various cross-cutting issues like gender, human rights and climate change as well.
The Breastfeeding Promotion Network of India, that started with 4 members in 1991, now has more than 3,600 members in almost all the states of India.
It's quite rare in India to have doctors organize themselves to speak on public health issues or to be involved in social action. And I think BPNI is one of those unique fora where most of their participants are in fact either doctors, nurses, health professionals in some manner. So to be able to mobilize that particular group of people and to be able to engage with them, to expand their thinking beyond clinical medicine. I think that is one very important contribution that BPNI has made.
Health and nutrition is also an area where BPNI has made its presence felt.
I think that there has been a really significant contribution which has been made by BPNI in shaping the national agenda for nutrition in the country, including through support to designing the agenda for the PM's Council on India's Nutrition Challenges and universalization of maternity benefits for the draft National Food Security Bill.
Indian government is part of the global strategy to develop, implement, monitor and evaluate breastfeeding policies. As specified in its goals, BPNI is instrumental in the monitoring, promotion and execution of these policies. BPNI continues to help push forward the government's agenda for women and child protection.
Breastfeeding Promotion Network of India has really emerged as an international organization now. It's so popular that we have started working in all areas with BPNI, like a lot of symposium, training programs we have started. The last and most important work which we have done with BPNI is the World Breastfeeding Trend Initiative research.
Year after year, BPNI has led the initiative in the country to launch action during the World Breastfeeding Week and followed it up.
We do all kind of activities during the World Breastfeeding Week, social mobilization activities, in which the message of optimal infant young child feeding is spread to the community.
BPNI is now called to support governments in planning their action plans to support breastfeeding mothers.
BPNI has very strategically focused on the fact that one of the most important ways of tackling malnutrition is the most simple way that nature has decreed. The problem is so intractable, the problem of malnutrition, that it takes that kind of persistence and that kind of consistent effort to be able to bring it as a major policy decision which will impact by the instrument of the 12th plan, which will impact millions of children in this country.
BPNI offers solutions through its excellent training programs on capacity building in IYCF based on the guidelines provided by WHO and UNICEF.
There is something unique in this training. We use the principles, so it's like 20% by traditional teaching, the way we teach, another 40% we do teach by doing role plays, then clinical practice, and then it's ultimately let the participants who are being trained, let them do also a hands-on experience. That's how we inculcate all the principles basically in the training.
Its trainers and counselors work to effectively increase the breastfeeding rate. Through training of health workers and community volunteers, through its wide information network, research and publications, campaigns and schemes, BPNI has made waves in a very encouraging way.
Being very closely associated with BPNI, very closely working with them both in developing the training modules and also doing some research, because they're assisting us, providing some money for doing research.
In the international arena, BPNI serves the Regional Coordinating Office of International Baby Food Action Network (IBFAN) for Asia, which is a network of groups working to promote optimal infant and young child nutrition in over 25 countries. BPNI is also the regional focal point South Asia for World Alliance for Breastfeeding Action (WABA). The way forward is full of hope.
BPNI has been on the right track and it should just continue.
The future is bright.
We are near the goal, very near the goal. Continue your efforts and I'm sure we will achieve the goal which is set not by Government of India but internationally.
The road is quite long, but they are on the right path.
The marketing forces are strong, but voices of reason and care will succeed as they have all these years.
We, being a watchdog organization, keep a check on these baby food industries as per the IMS Act and would continue doing so.
It's like an organization which doesn't believe in building empires. It's building a movement. If people want it, it will continue.
BPNI is on its way to bringing good health to your children.